Welcome to Envisioned Broadcasting Radio, EB Radio. EB Radio. Your station for empowerment presents Mom Boss Talk Radio, a show that brings real life, real moms, and real experiences to empower mom bosses everywhere to be ambitious, highly driven, fierce, fabulous, and fearless. Mom Boss Talk Radio begins now.
Welcome, mom bosses all over the world. It's another amazing Thursday, and that means it's time for another great discussion with the mom bosses. I am happy and excited that you're joining. Now, this show is three mom bosses bringing you real life, real experiences to empower you as a mom boss. I'm one of your hosts, Manetta, and Jerisha and Kiana. They will be joining us in future episodes. Now, we're still in the month of May, which is, of course, Mental Health Awareness Month. I thought it would be a great idea to talk about a few topics, actually. One, and I guess they can all mesh together in a way. I guess they all can. Mom insecurities. Yes, that's huge because I think every mother can relate to each other in that aspect of feeling, rather it be your physical appearance, you're dealing with, postpartum depression, relationships outside of motherhood, mental and emotional. Regardless of what it is, we all have struggled and are probably still struggling with mom insecurities. Once you have your children, everything changes, physically, mentally, emotionally. You will be drained. You will be fatigued, sometimes delusional. You're not going to be happy in certain parts. Of course, you're going to love your child, but reality sets in of like, you have an individual you now have to give your life to protect, to nurture. And, and a lot of women go into superwoman mode, which is not always the healthiest, but we tend to do that. We tend to overextend, and, typically we put ourselves last all the time. For example, for myself, when I go out into the world, as soon as I open my eyes and I go out into the world, I always think of what I need to do for my kids. What do I have to do to ensure they're healthy, they're safe, that, financially, like what my mind constantly goes, like my brain races constantly to take care of little people. Well, my babies are not little anymore. I have a 14-year-old and I have a 10-year-old. Well, he'll be 10 this month, but 10-year-old. And, they're pretty, self-sufficient, independent, but that does not mean anything to me because I'm like, okay, yes, I see the progress of my work of raising them and they're doing spectacular, but I still, as a mother, worry. And I think my biggest insecurity is not doing enough to secure their future. And not, I want them to be, even though they're self-sufficient now, I can't really say self-sufficient. They're independent. I don't want to say self-sufficient. They're independent. And that's their personality traits, and it's not by force. But, they're independent, but even if they were self-sufficient, I would give them everything that they could dream of if I could. I told my kids, hey, you don't have to leave the house until you're ready. There's no kicking out at 18. There's no kicking out at 21. There's no kicking out at 25. If you want to stay in my house up until you're 30, and considering this economy, I would not blame them, to be completely honest. But I love my children, I love them around, but, as a mom, it's like I'm always battling myself, you know, to make sure that I am doing what I have to do so they can see, that type of role model. I go into that superwoman, you know, mode, I guess you can say superwoman complex, because sometimes it's it's just hurting us in the long run, giving so much, so much. But I think for the past year, I, if you haven't heard past episodes, I have I'm not only on my Boss Talk Radio podcast. I also have my own podcast called Finally Conceited. And the reason why I named it that is because I had to really look at myself and, like, something I deserve to think about me. I deserve to put myself first in any situation that I choose, and not to be made to feel bad about it. And let me say this, you should not feel bad for putting yourself first at all, no matter the circumstance, no matter the situation. If you have to walk away from a situation to get your mind right, to give yourself clarity, do that. Do that. Okay? The only person that's going to be mad at you is yourself, and that's the problem. You need to walk away. And if other people are mad, okay, oh well. You need to focus on setting boundaries. You need to focus on figuring out how to eradicate the insecurities. And it's not going to be easy, and it's going to be a lot, especially if you're feeling these emotions for the first time and not really sure how to manage them, and not really sure how to, you know, fix it. And sometimes it's just it it can't always be fixed. It can be managed, you know. Um that's, I think, some certain situations it can be managed. Okay, don't ever think that you have failed if you aren't able to overcome your insecurities. Everybody's insecure, women and men. Everybody's has some type of insecurity about themselves. Even if you speak highly of yourself, there's going to always be something, that just something. And that's okay. That is completely okay, as long as you do not let those insecurities, like, dominate your world, dominate your mind. You're doing great. You're doing amazing. And setting boundaries outside of motherhood will definitely help in those insecurities that you're feeling. Either it be with your parents, with your spouse or significant other, or with kids, okay, with strangers, with friends. Setting boundaries is very important, because you are in control. You have control over you, and you can have control over what people kind of try to push your way. And some people be trying to cross them boundaries. Okay, a lot of people be trying to push them boundaries, but you have to stand 10 toes down in what you want for yourself, to make sure that your mental health is stable. Like, so stable. Like, I am in my 30s, and I'm just now coming to terms with boundaries, setting boundaries, and you know, uh doing things appropriately for myself, to ensure that I am mentally and emotionally fit, not only for my kids, but for myself. Insecurities is no joke. Insecurities can manifest into much, 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 much deeper and um, hurtful things. So we have to really get a hold of it before it just grows out of control. And trust me, I've been through it, okay? Straight out of control. Um so for me, I definitely, saw myself, going down a terrible path, of a very self-destructive, and not in, a very, not in a crazy way, but mentally I was going through a destructive, I was self-destructing because I was not kind to myself. I did not love on myself. I did not give myself the time. I did not give myself, you know, care. I didn't do any of those things because I was so consumed with being a mom that it completely, wiped my existence, like wiped me away. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know, what I liked. I lost every sense of me being just, feeling and thinking society wise, this is how you be a mother. And that's not necessary. It's not true. It's not true. As long as you love your children, your mothering technique is fine. You don't have to be like the next parent. Everybody's mothering techniques does not always work. And I think I was so consumed with doing it right that I was losing myself, and I was becoming more and more, um I was drowning more and more into my insecurities, and I picked myself apart constantly. And I just kind of, over time, I think the past, especially over, I think over, the past 2 years, I really had to stop what I was doing and have a serious talk with myself, a deep reflection, a deep reflection, and, of looking at the bigger picture of like, okay, who are you? Who are you? You are not this person. You are more than what you think you are. And I had to go through those, I guess, if you really want to, I don't even know how you can say it, like the 12 steps of grief, of losing, the pushing the old me away to kind of bring myself back up. I had to do that. It takes so much time. It really does. It takes a lot of time to get your mind in that flow. And I think once you get into that state of mind, things will work out so well. You have to remember, you're beautiful. You pushed out a human, okay? A human that probably looks at you and rolls their eyes and just and just kind of just stomps away. You know, Little toddlers and, little kids just enjoying life, like things like that. Okay? You've done so much by bringing life into this world, right? That sometimes it feels like life left you once you had the baby. Like now your life becomes the baby's life. If that makes any type of sense. It makes sense in my head when I'm thinking about it. It's like you lost yourself. And I give props and kudos, okay, to the moms who are able to have children and not only, cater to their children, but also still maintain, their self-awareness. Kudos, okay? Applause all over, because I wish I could have did that. I really wish I could have, but guess what? That was then, this is now. As long as you're realizing your power now of self-awareness, self-love, and guess what? What's done is done. It's time to rejuvenate and restart over. Your insecurities, um, you know, is can be very detrimental. It really can, because it can consume you so bad. Um, so I'm like, this topic is very important, because I don't think people really talk that much about the insecurities of moms and the plethora of changes our bodies go through, and then we have to relearn ourselves all over again. and the emotional roller coaster that we continuously go on, after having the baby, through the lives of our children growing, and then always, worrying and, making sure that our children are good and safe. And it's a lot. It is a lot. Um, and I have to always remind myself, I am that girl. Okay, I am amazing. I am top tier. Okay, grade A baddie. That's me. Okay, I put myself on the top shelf. Okay, top shelf. That's where I'm at right now. That's why I'm finally conceited. I'm like, I'm going to be conceited. I'm going to think of me, also thinking of my family, but I'm going to mainly think about me, also thinking about my family. But you get the gist of it. You get the gist of it. So moms, if you're feeling insecure, I hope that you can seek out resources to possibly help you if you feel like it's no longer manageable and you need the help. I would say take those insecurities, okay, and turn them around and make them strong. Like, emphasize them, flaunt it, okay? Flaunt your beauty, okay? Flaunt yourself, your mind, your body. Flaunt it, okay? You're amazing. You're beautiful, okay? You've done something spectacular, okay? Pushing a life into this life, okay? This is a great conversation. I hope we have more conversations like this. I really do. And we will. We definitely will. I really appreciate you tuning in. Definitely check out my podcast. Okay. Yeah, it's a little more of my personality comes out on that end. This is who I am, but also, I enjoy, speaking more in depth about my life, on that side. And it's more so about me than motherhood. So definitely check that out. Also, check out Mom Boss Talk Radio on Facebook. Okay, having conversations, bringing women together, empowering, giving resources, sharing businesses. So definitely go over there and check it out. If you have any questions, any suggestions, leave it in the comments. Okay, don't be afraid. Go ahead and do that. Also, we have started a book club. Okay, we had our first book club a few Sundays ago, and it went amazing. So definitely check that out. Okay, Booked and Busy book club on Facebook. Within our group. So if you want to check out more information and more deets, you will have to go, you know, follow. Okay, be a part of the group so you can get the information on the book club. Okay, we're dropping knowledge. Okay, knowledge is power. Yes, I'm so happy. Okay, now we are mom bosses on a mission to empower moms all over the world. Remember to be ambitious, highly driven, fierce, fabulous, and fearless. You are making moves. You got this.
Thank you for joining us on Mom Boss Talk Radio. Follow each of the Mom Bosses on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you love Mom Boss Radio, visit the website at www.envisionedbroadcasting.com. We'd love for you to subscribe, rate, and give a review on iTunes. Until next time.